If you thought you were getting a quick video, sorry. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm tearing into this thing. I'm going to give you my on the water review kind of first look. I do have a video coming out. I'm going to try to edit it tonight and get it out. I took this out. I keep wanting to try to refocus every time I barely move. But we took the lingual out today. We took everything out today. Storm blew us off the water. I'd probably still be fishing. So I thought I'd give everybody a heads up. And then we're going to tear into this one while I'm taking this one apart just to see if I want to make a drag clicker or if I just want to leave it alone. But I do like this. It's basically, if you guys don't know the deal on these boxes, they are basically PW100. The side plate, like everything is almost identical. They goofed up when they made this little ridge up here and that pointy thing, and I think they kind of jacked it up. But anyway, I like the reel, hate the knobs. They're going bye-bye. Try to put a joker in it, and it's good to go. Put the little thing up here. So here's my issue with the lingual, and then I'll go through a quick rod review so far. The lingual, you can't hear it now. I could almost hear those gears. It reminded me of the old Daiwa, of course it's aluminum gears with a brass main drive gear, So anyway, the fishing it today, I could hear, I don't think it's oiled right. And see how freely it spun that way from the time it was new. Feels very good and it's free and that's all cool and all, but when you can hear them kind of making a noise when you're retrieving stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and add some grease basically. So I'm going to try to do that. And like I said, with this one, while I've got them torn up, might as well, if you're going to tear one up, you might as well tear two apart, right? Okay. So let me set these off to the side and then I'll get through the reels and then we'll get these back out. Or we'll get through the rods, sorry. Now I got a full on more of a review coming up, but I wanted to share a couple quick little things with you guys as far as after me fishing them on the water and what I think. Now, you guys remember this guy? He's already in pieces. So this is a no. That $13 rod is $13. It's a no for me. So the maid's gonna take care of that rod. Anyway, the next, I wouldn't say letdown, but the next rod in line I'm gonna talk about, and I may go ahead and keep this one around because I kind of like it. They goofed up. You see the eyes? And I fished it on the water today. It does fish pretty good. It has more of the whole solid tip. It's thicker than most of the others. I don't know if you guys can make out how thick that is. But it does flex more. So like if say solid tips for rods, this would be your crankbait solid tip, and the other ones that are a little soft but then stiffen up. This was what, I guess I should just start calling some of these solid tips. I'd call this like a moderate action soft tip. The whole thing flexes right down into this to where, and then in my mind, it stiffens up a little too much for me, if that makes sense. And it's kind of short, 5'6", but it's like a short 5'6". And the eyes, I can't get over, I guess I could try to put eyes on it myself, but I can't get over how these eyes are the same exact size, huge honking eyes. And then we get down to this cool little tip. Can you guys make out how little that is to how big these three are in a row? And just in person, it's like, no. What were you thinking when you're holding it straight out away from you, Not a good look. Feels good overall. I actually like this. This reminds me of the, it's got see how that's cut in, but it's a good thick grip. It's just kind of like the Zephyr. It's got a good feel, gripping, and it casts real little baits. This would be a good little, kind of like a little crankbait rod for creeks. So it's a possibility it'll find its way there. If I'm thinking about trying to wiggle these guides out and basically just re-glue, insert a smaller, because I got a ton of guides laying around. I got a bunch of little, not really micro. I don't want to go micro. I'd want to go just find some silver ones and just get it going smaller. Maybe not even that first one, just these last two. Just get them wiggled out and glue in some ones that would just match up, keep them straight, but instead of having to rewrap the whole thing. Because it's just a cheap rod. This was, how much? This was $23. This is a $23 rod. And in case of the first time you guys have seen it, fishing blade. So that is not real cork. And it's a possibility. I don't know about with the reel on it, but I know when I put the solid EVA covered and cork things on my other rod and reels, the whole combo would float. Like you put a fairly lightweight reel in this, you drop it in the water, it'll float. Like it doesn't sink because that EVA works like a life buoy. So anyway, all right, that rod, I'm going to set it over here. I'm going to set it out of the way. It's a no as far as I'm not recommending it to any of you as like it'd be one to consider. Now let's talk about this one. I've definitely, and if you haven't heard now, I like this rod. Noah, he actually likes it. He wants one. He wants this and a Black Knight, the Black Knight 2. It just works. Like it's stiffer than the others. So far, it is comparable to this rod I'm going to talk about, the light tip. It's a touch lighter than that one's light tip. And here in a minute, I'm going to hold all the tips up for you guys to kind of compare. So this rod's a yes for me. It's 24 bucks. Yes, the cork is horrible. Even girls don't even like the cork. Vanessa saw it. She's like, I don't like that. But it works. It does. It kind of, the way I fish, I like how it works, and I'm keeping it. The Zephyr is always yeah, that's for sure. I like the Zephyr. It's a lot more money than these others. So let's talk about these three, even the Zephyr. These three rods, and scientifically proven, because I just tried it, all of the tips interchange. They look a little janky in a couple of them, but this brand here, this rod right here, and this rod, I think are made at the exact same place because all the tips look exactly the same. The Toma, this one came with 2 tips, and this one came with 1 ultralight. The ultralight tips, they are different lengths because this is 6 foot, that's 6'6". I'm going to try to show you guys. The wrapping, the same exact color, the same choice in these, like it's all identical. They just change the length on the longer one, and then of course it's a thicker. And honestly, I think how they do that, they just take these solid graphite. Now some of them are a little, firmer, like you can take the same exact diameter like this. So like say if you take this, you take this little guy here, and you measure, the exact point of where the thickness of one, and you check them. Sometimes, there'll be, some are a little harder or softer than others, just like that one I showed you that flexes more. But I think overall, like I think maybe they just shorten them down and go, just kind of come down another few inches where it starts getting a little thicker, and then they just turn that into their, because these all kind of have the same, trying to explain myself here. They all kind of have the same feel, just one's thicker at the tip. So the 2, let me show you quick. I know, I told you guys it wasn't going to be quick. We haven't even started tearing apart a reel yet. There's the 2 ultralight tips. The look, and when I flex them, it feels identical. One is definitely longer than the other. And they did place the guides, these 2 guides are placed differently. The guides are almost identically placed. So I'm pretty sure, and I even did the little, flexed this, and it feels like identical. So you basically have 2, looks a little different, but when you put the ultralight tip on this one and that one, you got a 6'6" one and a 6-foot one, and you're going to get the same. They should be able to toss the exact same baits. But then you've got the light tip, which is a little bit. Here's my supposed to be ultralight on that cheap one, the pink one. I haven't figured out a name for that one. Golden mud carp is not a good name for that rod. And these are very close. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference. Well, other than one's pink. Let me see if I can tell it, if it measures different right. Let's go right by the tip. 0. I'll try to show you guys too. Here we go. Hold still. Zeroed out. It's like weighing a bass, right? I'm trying to look and make sure you can see through the viewfinder, and so this one is a little thinner. See that? It won't go. So 1.1, I think this one was 1.3, wasn't it? So yeah, this is the light, and it is just a touch, like they're so close. But so that's what I call this anyway. I said it's probably more like a light, but it's not quite there. It's like in between an ultralight and a light. Whoa, look out, guys. Whoa, look out. I don't know what happened. It was storming outside earlier. Maybe you guys caught something. So anyway, what do I think of these rods? That one for sure. The Zephyr, 100%, even though it is a $62, I think $62 is what it was selling for. Yes, Javier, he was going to buy him one. And so I'm hoping to talk that kid into one of these $24 ones, because I'll be honest, I don't want to have to buy another one of these. I like mine. I want to keep it. But the plus is I can give him this one because they make the longer one, right? 6 foot. This is I think this is a shorter one. Yeah, this is 168, so 5'6". So I probably will give him this. This is a good rod though. I could always use it for something else. But I'm thinking about buying me the 6 foot one. That's how well I like this rod. I do like the Zephyr for $65. It's got a little, I guess I should show you guys that before I go putting tips on. The Zephyr, it technically, yeah, the ones I've got, I think it's the softest out of the ones I got. Let's find, either one of these will be the same. I'll use the short one. But I'm pretty sure, and I checked, I actually didn't do this check though. When I tested them, I think the Zephyr feels like so light, like it's hard to believe how light it feels. Well, it won't slide off. 0.9. So yeah, I get it to 0.9 and it slides off, and it won't go on that. So, and no, this isn't 100% accurate. This is this is from AliExpress. It's like $5. Just gives you a good idea. Yeah, this, and you can feel it. The Zephyr is definitely a thinner tip. It's not by a lot. And you probably would never know once you're out there casting, probably even the 1.5s or 2 gram or a true 16th ounce, 1.7 or whatever, or 2 grams for sure. You're probably never going to notice. But when you get to that crazy extra light stuff, that's when the Zephyr would possibly make a difference. So, keeper, I like this one. I still have not figured out what this is. Nobody's commented as far as I know. I thought it had me a cool, like the Rambo knives used to be. It had me like a survival kit in there. But if that's like a Chinese puzzle, I don't know how to get it open. I thought at first this is just something like on the end that like you can attach something to it, maybe a lanyard, so you're not going to throw it in the water or something. I don't know what that was, but then this spins. I don't know. Nobody's commented really what they think it is. EVA foam covered in like a cork wrap to look like cork. And I think it may be real cork, like somehow they've shaved. I don't know how they would do it, but because that does look and feel just like real cork, but right under it you can tell it is not, and it's just softer than cork is. But I like this rod. I gave it a thumbs up. It feels pretty good so far. Durability on all of them. I've thrown kind of heavier baits than what they're even rated for, and I'm fishing everything. I think I've got 10 pound is what I was using today. I mean, they seem pretty stout. A solid tipped rod, they're a little stouter, like not stouter. Hang on, I'll come right back here. Hang on. A solid tipped rod. Where's my, when it's that whole, like these all seem to be, when the whole, top section of the two-piece rod is a solid tip, they seem to just be a little more durable, in my opinion. I was going to try to show you guys here with what I got. I broke mine, but the only really rods that I've got that are two-piece that aren't solid tips, I've got the two Kang Tettons, which I've managed to break. One took about 3 years, but we smashed it. I fixed it. It still flexes, but your tips of your rods, like the Tettons that aren't a solid tip, they're definitely like a more flexy all the way through. Like for some of you guys, if you're used to traditional stuff, like more of like a crankbait rod feel, they're not necessarily fast action. Definitely not extra fast. They're not even a fast action. But then you got like this guy, which it's the only rod that I've come across other than the Tatula. Only rod I've come across off AliExpress that's the ultralight tip. You can get the light. I'd have to ask Charles. I ordered mine with 2 ultralights. I managed to break one. And then right here, that's the end of the hollow, and it jumps to solid tip. So that one is what I'd call more of like a, probably extra fast. So if you want to consider, and like none of these tips, it's hard to judge. They don't flex as quick. They're soft, like Charles's Stream Angler, but they're not, you can't really judge them, hold them up beside any of these solid tipped ones and try to get a good comparison on them. So I'll just compare, and I'm sure that the Lure Killer doesn't match up to how soft I'm trying to see how far they flex. Let me try to show you guys. Make out the flex. Yeah, see how quick that'll want to bend back? That's harder to get it to bend back quick. I'm not going to snap. Don't worry, I'm professional. I ain't going to snap them. So it is still stiffer. That's the lightest one I own. It's still the Zephyr. Now, when you get into the this guy, which is the 522, the whole rod basically flex. Like, see that? Back to even where I broke it. The whole thing flexes so much, but see how that tip doesn't start coming back? It's like flexes into the whole rod as one arch. You can still throw pretty light baits with that, but I don't think it'll touch once you get down into just that Zephyr is something else. And I've been using it for a little bit now. Charles may have been afraid to throw, I guess, heavier stuff the way it flexed. You definitely don't want to throw something you got to set a hook on, like a big jig hook, but like I'm throwing crankbaits that are pretty big. No problem. All right, so if you guys got any questions, nobody's on right now, which that's fine. Comment below. I should probably end this video and just come back to the real one. That's 20 minutes already just talking about rods. I didn't plan on talking that long about rods. Oh, I didn't even talk about this rod before I do anything else. This rod right here. This one, yes. This rod, I like. I actually like this rod. I don't like, let me show you what I don't like. Now I like it with, I'm like Charles. I'm starting to not like, other than, because I have it, the Zephyr. I got the Zephyr. It's got a crazy light tip, and that's my like creek and stream, and I'm going to try to get, I don't know. I'm hoping that Cast King makes this in a stiffer version or longer ones. You know, I hope they come out the whole range of these Zephyrs in, you know, for BFS that covers more of a spectrum of everything that you'd want to use for like instead of spinning gear, you want to use your bait casting gear. But until they do, I'm on the search. Anyway, here's the light tip, and I kind of like one. I've had the option, and I've tried a couple of Charles's, you know, with the light tips. And there's not a ton of them out there with the ultralight and a light tip on AliExpress, but there's several. There's some, and I definitely like the way I fish. You know, unless I'm going to a creek or stream, and that's a good option about this one. I can put the ultralight on, go to the little bitty small bodies of water, fish. I can put my light tip on and cast like I was doing today. I was casting small cranks and other different stuff. This should be a pretty good Ned rig. You know, that's the small jigs or crappie jigs or stuff like that. Even with this, you know, with this tip, got a little more power there, and still not a ton. You're not talking like what I would consider normal JDM like my like the 6.5 Conqueror is definitely a stiffer rod overall. But this rod's more fun. Here's the deal with this one. It's got the cheap guide look and feel to it. But it's not bad. It's not as bad as the others. They're just, and really these are fine. They kind of get small, and these are pretty good. The problem is there's just not quite enough of them. But it does work. I have no issues with when I was using it. It's just there's not that many of them. So this one is definitely a go. And I don't know if I don't think I've showed you guys. Have you guys seen yet? I had planned on, I really don't know what I'd planned on putting on this, but I did not plan on putting this on it. I got this for one specific purpose. I saw it and I went, that is a perfect reel for my Tatula. Then I got this and I was like, you know what? This flashy gold writing, the silver. I'm like, this thing is like made for this. And I put it on it, and guess what? It is made for it. It's like a awesome looking combo that just works. I was fishing this today, and that's what I was going to tell you. I'm putting a video out. I got to work on it tonight. I threw this with the new little bitty whopper plopper. So we caught a bass. I just put together a quick video. First time I was using this combo, and it worked with that little whopper plopper. And so I like this. But guess what? I got to get another lingle now. I mean, I know I could switch back and forth, but actually what I'm going to use this for and the Tatula, I'm going to need them both ready to go. I don't want to have to switch back and forth. Well, I got you guys all blinded there for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this apart and see what I think of it on the inside. But more than likely, I'm going to have another one of these coming. 2 fish with this. So the yes, that must mean this is a yes, right? The only downside, like I mentioned, the eyes are a little funky. This looks awesome. That is definitely not real wood. It is plastic, but this is aluminum. That, all of that, that's not real cork. That butt section possibly is some kind of cork, but this is just like the other, all 3 of them that I've got. This guy, the other purple one, and this one all have that cheaper EVA covered stuff. I guess I say cheaper. I'm sure it's cheaper than real cork. So it's a kind of, it's not a deal breaker. It still looks good. The thing that's an issue, and I'm just going to wait until I wear this out or the rod breaks and I'll throw it in the trash or whatever, but I guess I could use this reel seat if this holds up. Now, I've had a mega bass. You guys have seen it, the one I call my favorite. That will wear eventually, probably just by use. The mega bass one did. Most of them, you know, it's not wood. It's going to wear off at some point. But right here, I wish that was a little bit longer. If it had the length, I'll try to show you guys. See where you're grabbing the trigger? See how much further the Zephyr sticks out? And I'm pretty sure the one, the Volan that I got coming, that Charles has one, I cast it, it's a longer deal. Now this isn't a huge issue for me because I could simply peel that off, extend the butt, just an old piece of rod or whatever, and put a new cork handle. You guys heard me talking about that. You're probably like, yeah, show us, do it. And while I'm doing it, make it a little, just a touch thicker maybe, and definitely longer. But that feels good. It's just, it's almost, it could use to be a little bit longer. But I like the way it worked with, I didn't get a chance. I took it with me. I took the ultralight tip. I was going to switch them out, but the storm, like I said, you guys will see in the video when it finally makes it out. It was nuts. Had a huge lightning strike not far away, not like with truly life-threatening to me, but it was close enough, and I saw it, and I'm pretty sure the camera picked up. It's like, I'm like, well, time to go. And it was getting wicked, so I was getting a little bit wet anyway. You guys will see in the video, but so I didn't have time to test the ultralight tip. But like I said, it's the same as the 6.6. So, and I tested it, and it felt pretty good. I was throwing the little the smallest you can get Bagley square bill. I was throwing with that rod, and it was actually, I was catching bass, and that rod doesn't feel too bad. I was kind of I was on an overpower mode. I'm trying to test the durability before I worry about, how light will it throw? Because honestly, other than if some of you guys want to know, I could care less. It's throwing what I want to throw with them, what I use BFS gear for. So I like this one. I'm sure I like the ultralight tip on this, but I love the light tip for what I was doing. I was, had the lingle zinging out the little whopper plopper. I think I threw the big whopper plopper on this too. Not the huge one, the standard. Is it a 90? They make the fat one. I think it's 70. Actually weighs more than 90 in the 90. Then I threw the huge whopper plopper on my 6.61 again, just to show everybody, since it's been a while since I did that. It's definitely overloaded. This rod is overloaded with a standard whopper plopper, whatever they weigh, because the ratings on it, 2 to 5 pound line, 0.8 to 5 grams. And that regular whopper plopper is a bunch of grams. But I threw it. No problem. I didn't feel like anything was, like, oh, that was iffy. Now, I didn't, rear back and whip it or nothing like that. But so durability test so far on this one and this one. And I've durability tested the Zephyr already and this guy. I mean, if they break, it's probably my fault. Half of them I run 10-pound test. Sometimes I did run 6 pound on this guy, I think, today. Why was I running 6 pound? I don't remember why, but I was running 6 pound on one of them. I think it was this one. Oh, I know why. I was running 6 pound on this one because this one definitely has the way the tip flexes. I had the Black Knight 2 on it originally, and I had 6 pound test rigged up. That's why. Then I said, nope, enough of this rod. I put it back on the one I like it on, and left the 6 pound. That's why. So we talked about all the rods, and we took forever to do it. So I'm going to end this video. It's like 28 minutes and something. And I know I said I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this right now, but I'm going to end this video, kind of give you a little rundown, up to date, what I got going on with the rods. Stay tuned. I'm going to jump right back into another live video, and we're going to tear into these. That way it'll keep it shorter for somebody later on down the road that wants to watch one of these, or thinking about watching one. They see it's an hour, they're like, no way. If they see it's only a half hour, they're like, no way. But anyway, I have the Mavlos Delicacy, another Mavlos that I have no idea what it's called, but it does have a long straight handle like this. And I think it's got like this here, with this kind of a reel seat. I think that's what it is, but it's Mavlos. So there's two. How many more do I got coming? I got the big lure killer, which I can't remember the name of. It's the purple one. It looks awesome. It's got a wooden handle. I've got the CU Ace Hawk CU double coming. I've got another cheap one. It's $19, but it's a $19 one. It's got the scorpion on the back of it. Then I got the other one that's got the scorpion on the back of it, but was like a wooden handle, and it's got like blue wraps. You guys have seen that one. It's got the little Alpha's Air TW with all the red on it, and the blue and red kind of clashes. I got one of those coming in. That one's coming in 6'6", because I had options. I just got the longest they had because I don't have that many long lightweight rods at the moment. Just a 6'6" Kang Teton. That's it. And then now this guy. So that one will be an option. And then I also have, I got something else coming. I can't remember what. I think I got 7 rods still coming, not counting these. And I got so many over there sitting on the wall that I don't need them all. I'm trying to find what I like in these and the cheap, affordable ones. And then I might start going, since I really like this, I might have to dive into a little bit higher end. So you guys can comment at the end of this video if you recommend what rods. Doesn't necessarily have to be AliExpress. You know, I don't like 7-foot rods. Like, so the Dobbins, they make a nice finesse one. They've always made nice rods. I had a few. They actually made a 6'8", 3'4" crankbait rod. Man, that was a nice rod. And I had the 742. I don't know, the lightweight. It was 7'4", and it worked awesome. But I just got to the point where I don't like long rods. So I've had a few Dobbins over the years. I had so I've had those. I just don't know if I want to. What are they, like $160? And it's a 7-foot finesse rod, which is based, for BFS. There's, if you know where you can get a Sensolite, I should try to track one down because and they're fairly cheap. So if you guys can track a Sensolite down, get it. If you don't want it, give it to me. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. A lot more of these coming up. Now, I'm going to wait till I get them all together. And the ones I recommend anyway, I'm going to try to get out. I'm going to have to get like a white board behind me and show you guys the full flex of these rods. I'm just not set up to do it right now. I'm just kind of showing you what I think. But my plan is I'm going to show you guys all of how much, and a lot of them will have it, how much they weigh, where the balancing point is. And this one does not have a good balancing point. I even added an ounce back here. It still don't want to balance right. But it's one of those rods like you can use for you throw it out and you don't need to tip up. I'm not going to use it. It's not going to be my jig rod. I'm not sitting there. I'm like casting tip down. I'm getting resistance anyway. So rods like that don't have to be. But yeah, I'm out of here. Right? Coming right back. Wow, 33 minutes already. Coming right back, tearing this and the what is it? Spirit Fox. Tearing them apart. Come back and check it out.